This is the practice quiz video for focus quiz number 9. In number 1, we're asked to convert the given radian measure to degrees. So what we need to do is multiply by 180 over pi. So that way your pi would cancel out. And you're left with 3 times 180 divided by 4. So let's type that into the calculator. 3 times 180 divided by 4 would be 135 degrees. So on your quiz, you will be asked to either convert from radian measure to degrees or from degrees to radians. So if you remember from class, 360 degrees is equal to 2 pi radians. And 180 degrees equals pi radians. So if you want to go from degrees to radians, you have to multiply by pi over 180 and then leave the pi as part of your answer. And if you want to go from radian to degrees, you have to multiply by 180 over pi like we just did. All right, so that's what you'd want to know to be able to answer number 1 on your quiz. Number 2 says a person is standing 26 feet from the base of a flagpole. So we draw a little picture of what's happening. We form a right triangle. They're 26 feet from the base of the flagpole. And they make an angle looking up at the flagpole, an angle of elevation of 47 degrees. And what is the height of the flagpole is what we're trying to find. And so by what we're given, we have this angle. We have the side opposite of that angle. And we have the side adjacent to that angle. So let's use tangent, because that does not need the hypotenuse. So tangent of the angle, tangent of 47 equals x over 26, because it's opposite over adjacent. Then we just need to multiply both sides by 26 to get rid of it, get x by itself. So 26 times the tangent of 47 degrees will equal x. So make sure your calculator is in degree mode. Then go to 26 tangent 47, you type it just like it looks on your paper. And we can round to the nearest tenth, so that would be 27.9 is approximately the height of our flagpole. So for your question on your quiz, you could be asked something that involves tangent or sine or cosine. So let's review that sine of an angle equals opposite over hypotenuse. That's what we remember by some old hippie. Cosine of an angle equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So that's caught another hippie. Helps us remember the order of that. And then tangent of an angle is tripping on acid. But of course, never, ever, ever do drugs. But that just helps us to remember the setup. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. So you will be asked a similar question, but it may involve sine, cosine, or tangent. Not necessarily tangent. All right, let's look at number 3. It says find a positive and negative coterminal angle to an angle that measures 38 degrees. So you would take your angle you're given. To find a positive coterminal angle, you would add 360. And as long as you have a positive number, that is a positive coterminal angle. And then a negative coterminal angle just needs to be negative. So subtract 360 to get a negative one. And if you, for some reason, don't end up with a negative, you just have to keep subtracting the 360 until you end up with a negative. But that one worked fine. So negative 322 would be a negative coterminal angle. So remember with coterminal angles, they land on the same spot. So you either have to add 360 to get a positive one or subtract 360 to get the negative one. The next question says find the exact value of the following. So on our unit circle that is going to be given to you on your quiz, you just need to recall that, let me erase all that, that every x on the unit circle, we have a point x and y all the way around. There's all coordinates of our unit circle. X represents cosine and the y represents the sine. And so they asked for sine of 150. So if you go to the 150 degree angle, the sine value is the y value. So that would just be 1/2. So you do not want to type these in your calculator. You want to use the unit circle to figure them out. And then cosine of negative 45. So cosine of negative 45 is to go down to what's equivalent to 315. Because they are the same. So if I go down to negative 45 degrees, that is coterminal with 315 degrees, and they wanted the cosine, which is square root of 2 over 2. So we just write that like it looks. So if you do type it in your calculator and you get a decimal, that would not count as a correct answer because it did ask you for the exact value. And the last question on your quiz is talking about arc length. A merry-go-round has a diameter of 15 feet. So let's draw a circle to represent our merry-go-round with a diameter of 15 feet. So diameter means all the way across the circle. If a child sitting on the edge of the rotating merry-go-round sweeps out an arc length distance of 22 feet. So they sweep out their feet in an arc length of 22 feet. Then through what radian measure does the child move? So we want to know the angle. So what you need for this problem is the arc length formula. It's very simple. S equals R times theta is our formula. So S is our arc length. R is the radius. So notice they gave us diameter. We're going to have to say that the radius is the diameter, which is 15 divided by 2, which will be 7.5. And then theta is the central angle. And that is what we're looking for in this case. So that's the central angle. So that formula you will need to know to be able to answer number 5 on your quiz on Friday. So let's plug in what we know and figure out what we need. The arc length is 22 feet. We know the radius now is 7.5. And we're just looking for theta. So all you need to do is divide both sides by the 7.5. So 22 divided by 7.5 is 2.9 radians. And you can leave it like that. So just know the arc length formula and what those letters represent. And then you may be given diameter and have to figure out the radius. And then keep in mind on your quiz, you will be given the unit circle. Okay, so that's it.